My name is Amanda Zauderfeld, and I'm here today to introduce you to StyleBible.com. StyleBible.com is a subscription-only service. It acts as the ultimate online black book. It delivers insider information on where to eat, sleep, drink, shop, and be pampered in the style capitals of the world. Style Bible is targeted at the market between the ages of 24 and 45, middle-aged professionals with a medium to high disposable income. It's initially been launched to the UK market, but it certainly has the potential to be launched to a global market. Our official launch was held at the private members club Movida, which has recently opened. The evening was hosted by Tamara Beckwith and attracted celebrity attendances from Misha Parish, Nick Moran, Ian Aspinall, Sarah Maltravers, and influential London socialites including Katrina Khashoggi and Jessica de Rothschild. Style Bible is stylish, accessible, aspirational, and it has already been embraced by a small but key influencing market. We're looking for £250,000 for a 25% stake in the business with a return delivery of 1.1 million in year 3. Thank you very much for your time.
Despite a shaky start, Amanda Zauderfeld has managed to get through her pitch. She's looking to raise £250,000.
Amanda, where does your information, your content come from?
Well, initially, it came from a love of magazines. Sort of having lived in 5 European countries, everyone used to say to me, you know, where do I go when I'm in Marbella? Where do I go when I'm in Paris? So it started there. Then I've been a magazine junkie all my life, and kind of you go through these magazines, and once you get past the waffly articles, occasionally you find a great little bar or a great shop, and you kind of think, oh, that looks good.
Amanda, I just like answers.
Okay.
That's a very lovely history.
We now have PR agencies that contact us. We've got a great relationship with some of the leading PR agencies in London and New York.
And they feed you information about various establishments.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so if you're a conduit for a bunch of PR flack, what makes you a guide, a Bible? Isn't this brand about being on the customer side and saying, this is special?
And that's exactly what we do.
And you're telling me the way we know it's special is because you read about it in a magazine article or because a PR firm whose job it is to send out a press release to say the best things about anything is something that you then choose?
Every single establishment you find in Style Bible, a member of our team has been in that establishment and they have tried it out.
And who pays their expenses?
In some instances, we do receive complimentary.
Hold on a minute. On some occasions, you receive complimentary rooms or whatever?
Yes.
Whenever I go anywhere, I never say who I am, because you get treated differently.
Doug Richard and Rachel Elnor are not convinced that Amanda's website will offer enough independent advice to attract the subscribers she needs. With this in mind, Theo Pafitas wants to know how many subscribers she's signed up so far.
Amanda, hello.
Hi.
How many paying subscribers have you actually got today?
We've had 18 paying subscribers. At the moment...
And how much is it to subscribe?
Initially, we did it as an introductory offer of £10. We are planning to increase that at the end of the first 3 months to £25, and at the end of year 3 to £50 per annum.
Amanda, hi, I'm Peter. Behind every website, there's got to be a viable business for somebody to invest in the business. And this is what's coming into question, is this viable?
Well, we're aiming to have 7,000 subscribers by the end of year 1, 20,000 subscribers by the end of year 2, and 45,000 subscribers by the end of year 3, which, if times by £50, will bring in a revenue of 1.8 million in year 3.
I think £250,000 into your business is probably what it needs to get it kick-started.
Yeah.
You'll need that every month for the next 12 months before your brand is established. So I'm going to declare myself out.
Okay.
I'm not convinced.
Thank you for your time.
Peter Jones thinks Amanda will need so much funding to attract customers that he'll never see a return. And Doug Richard, who's been at the cutting edge of internet investments for over a decade, is also unconvinced.
I have never been less persuaded by an internet business as I stand here today. I think that you need to go out and sit in front of Google for 48 hours, somebody, especially you, and do your best to do what I could do, which is probably get that information quite adequately without you.
So if you were going to go to, for example, the Algarve, right?
Okay.
And you wanted to find a boutique hotel, you wanted a nice Michelin star restaurant, a couple of nice lounges to have cocktails in the evening, a nice golf course to have a round of golf in. Your wife might like to go to a really nice spa to be pampered for the day. And when she's finished pampering, maybe she fancies doing a bit of shopping. And you're not there for very long. Could you tell me exactly where you're going to find all of that information quickly, easily, that you can download to a notebook, that you can print
Yes,
out?
I can. In fact, I'm so confident that I'll bet you 75% of your company for $250K that I could do the Algarve on here with a personal computer in less than 60 minutes using Google.
That's 60 minutes on Style
That's
Bible.
60 minutes, and you know what else I get? I get the discovery of the unexpected. I learn things I wouldn't have known, and I'm not forced through your editorial restrictions on determining what is good and what isn't from a brand that I have absolutely no reason to have faith in. There's nothing there to say, this is why we're different.
I believe that I've lost you, and
You're right.
You know,
I'm out. Move on.
So
well
phrased. I'm going to move on.
Despite a determined defence, Amanda's been torn apart by Doug Richard. Only Rachel Elnor, Theo Paphitis and Duncan Bannatyne remain.
Hi Amanda, I'm Duncan.
Nice to meet you, Duncan.
I'm not going to invest in you either, so I'm out.
Okay.
Amanda, it's virtually impossible business model to make work, and I really hope you prove me wrong, but I cannot see it, and I'm out.
I'm disappointed.
All but one of the dragons are out, and now Amanda must rely on Theo Paphitis for the £250,000 she needs.
Amanda, the model you've adopted is so flawed that never mind £250,000, you're going to struggle to find anyone to put anything remotely like those figures into this site. So you can tell from my comments there that I am out.
Amanda has been savaged by the dragons, who couldn't find any redeeming features in her Style Bible website whatsoever.
What she put in front of us wasn't a business, it was hardly a website. It represented a complete absence of opportunity.
But Doug, I would not want to sit there for an hour search engine and looking for all these things. It's a convenience for me, and that's the bit I did like.
But Peter, the convenience of that, you would only subscribe to if you had a reason to believe that what she was offering you was something more than a congregation of paid advertisements and uneducated opinion. And it's annoying. It's beyond annoying. It's incredibly frustrating to see somebody pour all that stuff in and have absolutely no clue that she is a lamb to slaughter. Better she knows now than any other time. Full stop.
Amanda, I hope you enjoy a good row, because that's certainly what you got up there.
It is. You know, when you're up there, it's extremely difficult. Two, I don't think they quite got Style Bible. There's people out there paying £3,000 a year for a concierge service that under-delivers what we do within that price. I'm incredibly disappointed that they either didn't get it or that the feedback that I've had to date isn't right.
Now, Doug said he could do what you provide in an hour on Google. Is that true?
Do you know what? I think he might be able to, but why traipse? I mean, I'm not being funny. The guy's a multi-millionaire. So is he going to be that tight that he's not going to part with a tenner to subscribe to a service that's going to make him basically find those answers in 10 minutes and get it cheaper to boot, so he's going to get his subscription fee back? If he's got an hour to waste on Google, then I wish him the very best of luck.
Many entrepreneurs come to the Den looking to turn a passion into a multi-million-pound business. Julia Laronde brought Cicero, a rum, coconut and cream liqueur made to a secret family recipe.
My mom used to send me bottles and bottles of her homemade version of this drink. at university, and we used to have this most amazing parties. What I bring to the drinks industry and to bring this drink is my heritage. This is my grandmother's recipe.
Let's have a glass.
Yeah.
Glass for all the dragons.
While they all loved the drink, Theo Paphitis thought she'd struggle to fill the nation's glasses.
You should be looking first at how you're going to create the customer awareness for people to actually say, I want a double Sisuru, please, on ice.
Yeah.
Rachel Elnor thought she couldn't compete with the big drinks manufacturers.
They spend millions on trying to launch hundreds of new products a year, and only a small fraction of them succeed.
£150,000 is not going to touch the sides.
Despite the free samples, Duncan Bannatyne just didn't think it stood a chance.
You can't market this because it's such a big market out there and there's so much competition
I
out there.
don't agree.
So I'm out.
I think you shouldn't have allowed him to fill up the tall glass.
The Dragons often like to say you only know your product will sell if you've actually sold some for real money to people who aren't friends and family. Jay Cousins from Sheffield has made some real sales. So will the Dragons invest the £100,000 he needs?
Good afternoon, my name's Jay Cousins. I'm here to present to you the Oricaso range of products from Flatworld UK Limited. We're looking for £100,000 worth of investment for a 10% equity share in our company. And the products in question are designed for backpackers and lightweight travellers. This is a bowl, so as you can see, bowl's completely flat, takes up no backpack space, and you can use that for soup or cereal. These currently retail at £3 for two in the UK, $3 in the US for one. We don't have a cup. These retail for £2.50, or in the States they retail at $4. Has an insulated handle, you can use it for hot and cold drinks. This is a multifunctional dish. It's very simple to assemble. You can use it as a deep dish, you can use it for straining liquid from your food. This holds the food in, this lets it pour out. You can use it as a spout. Pinch it there, you can use it as a funnel for pouring hot water into your thermos. And if you've got coffee filter paper, you can put the filter paper in the corner and use it for making fresh coffee as well. We sell that for £4 or $6 in the States, and we also do the items as a picnic set, retailing at $24. Thanks for your time.
Jay is prepared to give away a 10% share in his company in return for an investment of £100,000.
Jay, I think the product looks pretty good.
Thank you.
What I'd like from you, really, is where did the idea come from? Tell me about...
The idea originally came from when I was hitchhiking across Europe with a friend of mine. As we were packing our bags, I noticed that the products that we were using, they weren't designed to be compact. They weren't even designed to be lightweight in the majority.
Is there any other products on the market that's similar to this?
There's nothing similar to it at the moment at all.
Nothing at all?
The closest to the cup is a cup that's made out of rubber that doubles inside of itself, or a telescopic cup. The telescopic cup leaks, and the rubber taints the flavour of the food, and it's not as compact as the one that we do at the moment.
Talk to me about temperatures, Jay.
Okay, we've tested these to minus 30 degrees Celsius.
No, hot temperatures.
Hot temperatures, they're heat resistant to 120 degrees, which is why we
Because it says it goes soft on your cautionary advice. Hot food or drink will soften cup. Does it make it kind of...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make it floppy or flimsy or actually affect the function of the product.
Are you involved with other designs of other products?
I would not develop any further ideas unless it was within the business until you have actually seen a return on your investment, and I would personally guarantee that to you.
Okay, good answer.
Thank you.
The Dragons are impressed. Jay's handling their questions well, and with no direct competitors in the market, his product looks promising. Doug Richard has more questions.
Okay, so how would you spend this £100,000?
Because of the fact that we're trading with America at the moment, and it's where the majority of our orders are coming from, and them wanting a China price, we need to be able to go to China so we can achieve the profitability that we're looking for.
Your American business constitutes the majority of your revenue?
Currently. We're selling a product to REI, the outdoor retailer, who have reordered the product 7 times since they first got the product in their stores in April. They love the products, they love the packaging, and they're basically flying off the shelves at present.
That's a good answer.
Thank you.
It's looking good for Jay. Proof of sales in the US has captured the Dragon's attention, but Duncan Bannatyne wants to know how well he's doing closer to home.
Are you talking about the American market?
Mm-hmm.
So have you tried making money out of this in the UK?
Yeah, we've just got into Millet's top 10 stores, and Decathlon have just placed an order for their UK stores.
What's been your experience of the sales in those 10 stores?
I haven't feedback on that yet.
Why don't you know?
Why haven't I followed it up, do you mean?
Yes.
The reason I haven't followed it up is because currently it's a staffing, time and resource issue. I've been managing the orders from the existing distributors.
Oh, Jake, not being rude, but don't. That's cringeworthy. It's absolutely cringeworthy. Please, just say, look, I've made a mistake and I haven't been able to do it. I mean, to pick up the bloody phone.
Okay, all right.
It takes 30 seconds. They're not,
okay.
Don't give me some cock and bull story. I'm into this at the moment.
Okay.
Just be straight.
All right. I apologise. I haven't picked up the phone yet.
Despite a good start, Jay's beginning to look unprepared. Duncan Bannatyne has a far more fundamental concern.
You have valued your company at £900,000.
Well, I didn't tell you that was the valuation. But
Well, you said 10% for 100,000, which values your 90% at 900,000.
Well, currently we're doing £200,000 worth of turnover this year forecast.
Yeah, but turnover's vanity and profit's sanity.
Jay, let's go out 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Post-investment, your estimated turnover.
7 million.
£7 million turnover.
Yeah.
0 to 7 million in 36 months.
I'll eat one of the cups if you do that.
Oh dear.
That's how many units? That's 20 million units sold.
Yeah.
Jay's over-ambitious plans to dominate the world market in backpacker crockery has shocked the Dragons. Their trust in his business judgment is wavering.
Jay, let me tell you where I am. You get a great product. You really do. It's fantastic. I love it. Yeah. I want to invest in you, and there's no bloody way I'm going to. Your numbers just don't work. You are not worth £900,000 to me today, so I'm not going to make an investment today.
Doug Richard thinks Jay has overvalued his company and he's out. Peter Jones has also come to a decision.
Jay, I have a concern over you, insofar as I know that you've gone to Millet's and you've ranged it. Now there's a congratulations. But the fact that you've not even bothered to call the guy back to check up on your product, that concerns me. Because that's not a guy really worried about whether it's selling, how's it doing. That's basically his whole life's on the line because he needs the sales.
I can't be selling my product to the States, fulfilling orders, managing my supply chain, preparing for trade shows to bring on board more distributors. I can't be doing everything at once. That's why I'm here and asking for money.
You've not come up with any numbers that you're going to sell, through which routes, which will produce which revenue, which will give me which net profit. All I've got is a piece of plastic that actually I've put water in it and it doesn't leak, so it works. But I've got no market opportunity, so I can't size it up. So my answer where I am at the moment is, looks like a great product, but at the moment, you've made yourself uninvestable for me, and the market opportunity, you've not given me a vision of that, so I won't be investing either.
Now Jay is in real trouble. 2 Dragons are out and he must rely on the 3 that remain for the £100,000 he needs.
You've got a fantastic knowledge about your product and where you're going with it. I just don't think there's enough business out there for your product. And so for that reason, I'm not going to invest either, so I'm out.
Okay.
So you're talking to me? I've changed my mind several times in talking to you, whether this is an opportunity or not an opportunity. At the moment, you have a product, and my valuation on that product is that it's nowhere near your valuation. It will only be worth your valuation if someone like me makes that investment and uses my skills, my knowledge to create the value. I've got a choice. I either take a punt on you or say to you, thank you and good night. So this is the call I'm going to make. I will invest £100,000 for 50% of that company. That's my offer. Think about it.
Jay came to the den looking to give away only 10% of his company.
Is what you're offering actually your time, or is it merely your money?
I've got to tell you, when I put £100,000 into an investment, I'll be all over you like a rash.
Okay, it's an interesting proposition. My issue at the moment is with the percentage. I believe 50% is too much. I see the value of having you on board.
£100,000.
Yeah, well, given what you're proposing at present, I can't accept that. I'd be willing to offer 20% for £100,000, but
it's 50% or nothing.
Then it's nothing.
Jay is determined to stand his ground, but now only one dragon remains.
Jay, I can understand why you refused Theo's offer, but 100,000 for 10% is ridiculous. 100,000 for 20% is still ridiculous, on the numbers you've given. So I'd be prepared to offer you 100,000 for 40%.
I would be giving away too much of a share of what I've worked for the last 3 years, and I'm confident I can actually find a better deal, which is why I'm turning down your offer. So, thank you for your time.
Jay is leaving empty-handed. In a remarkable show of confidence, he rejected 2 offers. The dragons are shocked.
He's going to regret turning that money down.
He could have had 50% or 40% if he'd taken your offer of a very large
He'd
pot.
have had 60%.
What I didn't tell him, was that the chairman of the outdoor group, David Bernstein, is a personal friend of mine, and they own Millets and Black's Leisure. But I thought I'd leave it to him to make his decisions first.
Jay, 2 offers, no take.
Yep.
Why not?
Well, frankly, I value my company at more than what they were prepared to offer, and I'd sooner walk away than take the shareholding that they were offering.
Did they give you something that was helpful at all, other than offers that you didn't want to take?
I found it was a useful experience to be able to pitch to investors of that calibre. I feel for them a little bit because they've missed an opportunity as far as I'm concerned.
You don't have to worry about them. You really don't have to worry about them.
I think they'll be all right. But I hope to be in that chair in a few years' time.
Other entrepreneurs who tried and failed to tame the dragons included Sam Fountain, who wanted investment for her female toilet aid, Shiwi.
The Shiwi is a device that allows women to urinate whilst they're standing. It's inserted into the user's flies and used like this.
The men in the den found it hard to appreciate its uses.
I absolutely defy what you said with regards to 99% of women or whatever will want one of these. I don't see it.
Sam, however, was determined to prove its potential.
Women in the army have to camouflage their bottoms with the same paint that they put on their faces, because otherwise they squat down their bottoms are a prime white target to be shot at. So this solves that problem straight away.
But Duncan Bannatyne had his own reasons for not getting involved.
My biggest problem is, I think that if I invested in this, I'd be forever known as Mr. Shiwi.
Yeah.
And that
How
just-
amazing would that be?
Prince Takare came to the Den looking for cash to develop his innovative new blender, the Smoothie Pod.
I'm sure you'll agree with me that it's sexy.
Unfortunately, the Dragons didn't agree.
I just don't think anyone would want to have this ridiculous-looking thing in the kitchen.
And Rachel Elnor wasn't convinced that an internet connection on a smoothie maker was altogether useful.
Right, so I'm a housewife.
Yes.
And I'm going to seriously get this machine. I'm going to hook it up via the USB port to my computer.
Yes.
Theo Paphitis thought he had no idea.
I just think you're entering into a market you don't understand. You've done market research, which sounds to me like it's the wrong market research that you've done, and it makes no sense whatsoever. So from my perspective, Prince, I'm sorry, I won't be investing in you.
Stephen Rennick brought his sports psychology book for tennis players to the Den, which claims to transform an average player into a champion. But his pitch failed to inspire.
People can buy online, which works quite well.
Doug Richard thought he'd missed the point.
This isn't a business, this is a book. You need to go to a publisher now.
Rachel Elnor thought he was a bad example of how to be a champion.
I'm afraid to say you don't actually come across as a winner.
Right.
And I guess we're looking to back winners.
The Dragons know that every investment they make is risky, so they need big returns on some to make up for the ones that never take off. Will David Wilkes from Yorkshire convince them his business can make big profits? He's after £50,000.
Good afternoon, my name's David Wilkes and I'm looking for £50,000 for 5% in my company which manufactures a big water-saving product which is in a little box called the Interflush, available from my website interflush.co.uk. And I shall just demonstrate what it does now. Right, just one little problem with that and all other flushing devices. Press the handle, let go, and they all flush fixed volumes of water, the full system load, away it goes. Now, as you can see, that's a lot of water every time. So if I just refill that with water, that's it. And whilst that filling, you'll note the colours of this, red, white and blue. It's invented in Yorkshire and it's made in Yorkshire. Right, so there's the toilet pan. So that's flushing, pan clear, let go, stop flushing. Just use what water you need, and when you fit this, you save 47% of the flushing water. And that's it basically. Available in a box.
David Wilkes' DIY innovation is a simple attachment to the toilet which enables the user to control the amount of water flushed by letting go of the lever. It has the potential to save millions of gallons, but only if he can persuade the public to buy into his concept.
David, I'm Doug. Hi. Let's say somebody fits one of your thingamajiggers into their toilet.
An Interflush, yes.
An Interflush. That's a change of behavior, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you're proud of it. Because my habit, I can't speak for everyone else's toilet flushing habits, is when I push down the lever, I push it down until I hear the toilet flushing, and I let it go, because I guess I assume it's all going to kind of take care of itself.
Yes.
But now I'm going to have to pay attention,
Yes.
aren't I? I'm going to have to push it down and watch. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes, just glance.
Well, for a period of time, I will be looking at my crap going down the
Yes, yes.
toilet. Just checking.
David, the thought of having to look at my shit when I go to the toilet afterwards is sort of borderline for me, especially if you're going, as I would call it when I was a little kid, and I haven't changed now, I call it big toilet. So when you go to the big toilet, you can't wait to close that top seat down. So I can't get my head round watching as if it's some form of ritual, being quite a proud moment with perhaps a little bloodle, sort of, you know, yodel in the background, sort of saying it's finished now and it's all over and it's gone away.
Right. Well, you've just built it up to such a massive thing. Most people look at the pan anyway to make sure it's clear for the next person. So talking this up that you're going to remember what's in the toilet, you don't remember it at all. All you remember is if it's out of the ordinary. Does that make sense to anybody else?
David,
Peripheral vision.
It gives me a bit of a vision of where you're going, but it sort of concerns me.
Well, you're not looking at it with the X-ray eyes of Superman, are you?
David, you're very aggressive.
David's hostile manners not endearing him to the dragons. He'll need to work much harder to persuade them he's worth investing in.
I now understand the device. Just one small thing I don't understand. Anything about the business.
All the money invested in this so far is just from me. It's got patent coverage on it, so there's a worldwide licensing right. It depends which way humanity wants to go, basically. I mean, at the moment...
Sorry, say that again?
It depends which way humanity wants to go.
Oh, humanity?
Humanity. At the moment, we're using resources up at the rate of we need 3.5 planets to supply them. Well, we haven't got 3.5 planets, we've got one. Water saving is what it's all about.
That may be the case. Somebody else needs to run with this.
David's desire to make the world a better place is not impressing the dragons. Duncan Bannatyne wants to know where he's been trying to sell his product.
David, who do you see your main customer base as?
Anybody who wants to save water and money, basically.
I was hoping you were going to say that you already sold it to a chain of hotels or a chain of pubs or bars or something like that. But you haven't.
Now, a lot of my time has been wasted actually talking to water companies. Their revenue is from selling water. So something that'll save them so much water. Well, basically, if 25% of the population fitted this, the water companies would take a drop in revenue of £300 million a year.
Most companies are in business primarily to make money.
That's right.
And if the water company reduces the water flow, it reduces its profit.
That's right. Right.
You thought it would...
OK, it took a while for the penny to drop, but it dropped. I'm saying I wasted a lot of my marketing time on approaching those people.
David's lack of business nous has exasperated Duncan Bannatyne.
If I invested in you, Dave, you would just drive me mad. You know, I'm out.
OK, no problem.
One dragon is already out. Peter Jones, though, wants more financial detail to understand the investment opportunity.
David, can we talk about some specifics?
Yes.
What's your revenue you're expecting to make this year?
200k. 200k
revenue?
Turnover.
Turnover. And what profit are you expecting to make this year?
Probably none it first year, in common with most businesses.
Really? No business that I've ever started or been involved with? What price will you be selling them at?
£17.95.
What's the wholesale price?
Wholesale price, that'd be £9.
And how many of these products will you sell through wholesale and how many products will you sell direct?
Wholesale, maybe 20,000.
And through direct?
20,000.
So you're going to turn over about 540,000 this year now?
Is it? Right, fine.
You haven't got a clue, have you? David, I think you're completely uninvestable as an individual. The product just, it doesn't do anything for me at all, and I'm absolutely not interested in investing in the product or you.
OK, no problem. That's all right.
David, I'm Theo. Hello, we haven't spoken.
No, yeah.
I'm not going to invest.
OK.
David's pitch is going disastrously. Only 2 dragons remain. Rachel Elnor suspects he's got his priorities all wrong.
David, can I just ask, are you more of an eco-warrior than an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I suppose I am, yeah. This could save 250,000 tonnes of carbon dioxide, over 500 million kilowatt-hours of electricity.
Are these more important to you than making money?
The making money is a byproduct, that's true for me. The reason you know, we're using all of the planet's resources up now is because everybody's obsessed with making money.
David, I'm going to declare myself out. I don't think it's one for me at all.
David, you may very well view yourself as saving the world.
Oh, just water.
In trying to save the world. But let me leave you with a message. I don't think you have a right to sit there and preach to me about how the world's going to hell in a handbasket solely because people want to make money, which is what you just said. I'll give you a response to that. There's a lot of good in making money. You want to know why? It drives people to do things, to innovate, to create, to be entrepreneurs, and to change the world. And so you say the business has to make money. No, it should be your driver to drive that profit, to drive this product. And because of that, you are not going to succeed. And so my message back to you is I would get off your holy horse.
Well, I never was on one, and I'm sorry you got the wrong impression.
I'm sorry you gave it.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
David Wilkes has felt the full force of the dragon's disdain. His opinions were completely at odds with theirs, and they could see no way of working with him.
If it doesn't sell, he doesn't get to save the world. So if he could think about getting it to sell, then he might save the world.
He's flushed 10 years of his life down the toilet.
Well, David, culture clash.
But what do you mean, America?
Well, there were a whole lot of culture clashes.
Yes, there were. They just didn't get it. The penny didn't drop.
You came across, though, as quite defensive. One said you were aggressive. I think it looked more defensive, but it wasn't a kind of good way to persuade them of your point of view.
They were asking the wrong questions all the time, and they hadn't understood it, really. They hadn't understood that we do need to save water.
I've never met anyone who has so much strong feeling about toilet flushing, but it's really been a great pleasure.
It's a waste of water.
Other entrepreneurs who failed to excite the dragons included Aretsu Sabrezi with her bejeweled Diamante G-strings.
I came up with this idea because I used to wear a lot of low-cut jeans, and I thought rather than making underwear a taboo, wouldn't it be really interesting to actually develop a product where it was actually quite sexy?
But Rachel Elnor viewed her G-strings as a passing fad.
The fashion for G-string, has come in over the past few years. When it goes out again, where are you going to be left?
Theo Pafitas thought people just wouldn't pay for pricey pants.
At 120 quid for a thong, it's a seriously premium price that not a lot of people will be able to afford. So for me, it's not even a starter.
Sean McKelleron brought his best friend with him to help demonstrate his innovative training lead for dogs.
What this product does is, when you pull, and you only need gentle pressure, the pressure is down.
But Rachel Elnor thought he had lost his lead in the market.
There is a market leader that's been doing it for 21 years, that's selling 400,000 units a year, that's already got a complete foothold in the market.
And Peter Jones agreed his sales figures never could be brought to heel.
One thing I can evaluate after listening to you and going through the numbers is whether I think it's a dog of a business, and I think it is.
Sarah Davis thought a saucy style of exercise might take the dragon's fancy.
I run a pole dancing academy all across the UK, teaching pole dance fitness classes in various gyms.
Theo Pafitas showed a healthy interest in the concept.
So I could actually wriggle and wiggle at the top of this pole, and
Yeah, it's all
not likely
to
to topple over.
I wouldn't allow it.
But Peter Jones couldn't see any benefits in getting involved.
Yeah, just sort of can visualise a headline. Peter Jones invests in pole dancing business. Actually, I can't see the headline, and cutting to the chase, it's just not anything that I would ever get involved with.
Now, the Dragons may each have several companies to their name, but they expect anyone they invest in to give up everything else they're doing and devote themselves 100% to the business they're pitching. Will Danny Bamping from Plymouth be able to give that commitment? He's after £100,000.
Good afternoon. My name is Danny Bamping. I'm here today to try and raise £100,000 for Bedlam Puzzles. Bedlam Puzzles Limited launched the cube, the Bedlam Cube, our flagship product, at Hamleys of London, and we outsold the newly relaunched Rubik's Cube by 5 cubes to 1. There's 19,186 different variations of putting these 13 geometric different shapes back into the box. And after 3.5 years of playing with this puzzle nearly every day, finally on Boxing Day, I managed to do it. And then we've taken the development a step further with corporate cubes. This is one that I've made up for my football team that I support, Bolton Wanderers. We probably won't sell that many of these ones, but we have made a Manchester United one and an Arsenal one, a Chelsea one and that kind of thing. You know, hopefully today that maybe one of you might take on the cube and invest in it and help create Bedlam around the world.
Danny Bamping wants £100,000 to market and promote his Bedlam Cube. In return, he's prepared to give away 10% of his company.
When did you outsell Rubik?
When we launched at Hamleys.
Right, so you launched, and during the 5 weeks between the launch time and Christmas, you sold...
We sold 2,000 units.
How have your sales been since January compared to Rubik Cubes in that store?
Well, we've exceeded them.
How much?
I'm not sure exactly on the ratio, but I think it might be 2 to 1. So for every, obviously, Rubik's Cube, we've sold 2 Bedlam Cubes.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've done really well. And Hamleys are really pleased. They've said it's one of the best product launches they've ever had.
What are your projections for this business, Danny?
I think it will do 20 to 30% of what the Rubik's Cube did. So when you look at the Rubik's Cube did 100 million units in 5 years, I think this has got the potential to at least 30 million units in 5 years.
So your entire business plan is built on doing 30% of one of the most successful toys in history.
Well, I think...
Is that correct?
To a certain extent. I think
and that's your conservative view?
Yeah, that's my concern. I think this has got bigger potential.
With good initial sales, Danny is brimming with confidence about the potential for his puzzle. Rachel Elnor has a technical issue she wants clarified.
Danny, do you have any, so it seems like a trivial question, but how do you actually get them made up? I mean, sort of, you've got, well, if it's so difficult.
Yeah. In China,
your workers, yeah.
They're very smart there.
Well, we obviously have to give them the solution so that they come manufactured in a certain way. And the interesting thing is that because people have bought the cube, say they bought one in Hamleys before Christmas, after Christmas we had a lot of people hitting the website to buy the solution.
Ah,
because
so
I sell the solution to people.
How much
for how
is the
much?
solution?
For £10.
Smart man.
Danny, I'd like to know about you, and I don't know whether we've talked about you. What's your background?
I am a serial entrepreneur. I've got other business interests as well.
So you've got various irons and fires?
Yes, and
right.
I do a lot of PR as well for other clients that I've got that I'm doing projects with. And in my spare time, I look for big cats. I'm sure you've heard of the stories of Beast of Bodmin Moor and all that kind of thing.
Never heard. I don't know. I haven't got a clue who you're talking about.
Beast of Bodmin. No,
does no one know?
It's you know, it's a big cat. It's a leopard. You know, and we've got an incident at the moment where there's a puma running around Dartmoor. So I keep the police informed from that perspective and the public. And yeah,
you're a good citizen as well, then.
I am, yeah, absolutely. But my complete total focus at the moment is the Bedlam Cube.
Danny's other interests could distract him from his Bedlam puzzle venture. Theo Pafitis wants to bring the focus back to the business opportunity.
I'm going to start with financials. Retail price?
This is between $9.99 and $12.99.
Right. How much do you sell it to the retailer?
Just over £5.
And how much do they cost you to produce them? Where do you produce them?
We produce them in the Far East, and the cost price to us is less than $2.
The impressive profit margin has sparked interest amongst the dragons. Danny came into the den looking for £100,000 for 10% of his company. Duncan Bannatyne is ready to test the water.
And how negotiable is the percentage of equity that you're offering?
Well, it depends, obviously, how much you're willing to put in of that, I suppose, that sweat equity.
Well, let's suppose they're spending 100,000. What equity would you offer?
If it was just the money?
Yeah.
10%, really, that's what I'm looking for. Depends how real the offer is, really. I mean, you know, get down to crunching numbers and...
An offer's an offer. If an offer's an offer,
Are
then
you,
the offer.
are you making an offer?
I'm asking you what percentage you would give me for £100,000.
Well, my initial focus was 10%, but I would be able to maybe go up to 15, or maybe we could talk about 20%. I don't think I'm going to go much above that.
Okay, I'll think about that.
Okay.
Danny, unless you were willing to radically revise your equity position, I couldn't even begin to consider an investment. So unless you're willing to take, like, in the neighborhood of, say, unless you were willing to discuss selling approximately 40% or more of your company for $100,000, I'll have to bow out.
Okay, well, I'll certainly consider it.
Well, this is the moment. Consider away. I'm asking.
Danny came to the den offering 10% of his company. Doug Richard wants a much bigger slice for his £100,000. Will Danny be tempted to sell more of his company?
For 40% of the business. I think it's, I mean, if you were going to put twice as much in, say, 200,000.
Then that would be the equivalent of putting in 100,000 for 20%, which was not the offer I made. The offer I made was 100,000 for 40%.
Then at this point in time, I'd have to decline that offer.
4 dragons remain. Peter Jones, who's been playing with the puzzle since Danny started his pitch, is about to show his cards.
Danny? I think you can probably see what I think of the product. I am mesmerised by it. I think it's really a great product. I really do. What I don't like necessarily is actually the fact that you classified yourself as a serial entrepreneur. What that tells me is that this is a one-hit wonder for you, and whilst it's going well, that's great, but actually that next opportunity down the road, you're off, you're gone. If I made an investment in you,
yes,
because that's what the investment is,
sure,
what commitment are you going to make in return?
Well, I'm, as I have been for the last 2 or 3 years since I started the product development, I'm completely committed to Bedlam Puzzles right now, and I don't see myself going off and doing something else. I've got...
And would you prove that by setting up a holding company? And the investment I make is in Danny Holdings Limited?
Well, I've actually set up a holding company.
OK, well, I'll invest the whole money for 35% of Danny Holdings.
By investing in the holding company, Peter Jones would own a part of all Danny's other business interests, not just Bedlam Puzzles.
So 35% of the holding company is too much of a stake, and I wanted to bring the focus back to obviously trying to maybe do a deal with Bedlam Puzzles Limited.
Deal's here right now. It's on the table. I won't negotiate, but it's right there. It's take it or leave it time.
Danny, just before you go back to Peter, I think this is a great product.
Thank you.
And I think it's a brilliant gift. Brilliant price. You've got a good margin going on it. But from what I've seen, just based on this product, I'd be happy to make an offer to you for half of what you need, 50,000, for 15% of Bedlam Puzzles.
Right. Okay.
So that's my hat thrown in the ring.
Okay, thank you for that.
And just, I do have retail contacts and experience into department stores and some other outlets.
Danny, they're both fakes.
Are they? You're the real thing, eh?
I've got the shops that actually sell these.
Really?
Can sell these.
What shops are those, may I ask?
A stationery store called Partners.
Oh, right, yeah.
You've heard of it?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. They could sell these through Christmas. I could actually put an order in now.
Oh, feel free.
I will do the 100,000 for 25%.
Okay.
There are now 3 deals on the table. Peter Jones has offered the full £100,000, but in return he wants 35% of all Danny's ideas. Rachel Elnor has offered half the money for a 15% stake in just the puzzle business, but Theo Pafitis has made the best offer all the money for a 25% stake in the puzzle.
Listen, you've had some fantastic offers here,
Yeah.
so I want to make my position clear.
Okay.
I'm out.
Okay.
So it's time for Danny Bamping to make the most important decision of his business life.
Okay, so I think I've better say to yourself that I'm really intrigued and flattered that you would like to invest in a holding company, but that's not what the offer was on the table today.
But just before you turn that down,
Yeah.
because I feel that's where you're going with
Well, almost.
it. You're an entrepreneur. You've got to
Yeah.
think with your mind, just not with your wallet.
It's not just about the money, and I don't want to be not in control of my holding company.
Well, I've been turned down, so I think I'm out.
You're out.
Danny has turned down Peter Jones. He's come up with his own idea of how to get himself a better deal.
Would you be able to look at maybe working with Theo and maybe doing something that where you both took the same amount of equity stake for the same amount of money? Say 10% for 50,000 each? Because that would give me, obviously, the money that I've come for. I've given away twice as much equity as I wanted to, but you both bring added value to the company. And that, to me, is a very appetising proposition.
You're renegotiating now. And you know what happens when you renegotiate, don't you?
I usually win.
Do you? Well, what happens, people then think again. I think, maybe I did go in too cheap. So maybe if you're going to renegotiate, I'll say, I offered you 100,000 for 25%. Do you know, I think I went in too cheap. I think I should have gone for 30%.
For 100,000?
Yeah.
So you could either persuade Theo to split that offer, 50,000 for 15%, 50,000 for 15%, or take his whole.
Yes, would you do that?
100,000
Would you
for
do that, Theo?
30%.
Would you do that, exactly what Rachel said?
Rachel, what are you going to bring to the party other than your hard-earned cash?
Well, I think I said it before. I've got lots of retail contacts with all the key department stores.
Mm-hmm.
And really, to meet these numbers, you need to get in there
To the big players.
now.
Yes.
I mean, now.
Yeah.
To get into their Christmas ranges.
What we're saying here is that you would actually make a direct introduction into those buyers.
Oh, yeah.
In that case, I'll let you come in.
Oh, that's very nice of you, Theo. Well, you've got a deal if you
Is
want to
that a
accept it. Yeah?
You got a deal?
Great.
Well done.
Danny has tamed the dragons. He got the £100,000 he came for, and after some tough negotiating, it was Rachel Elnor and Theo Paphitis who won the deal.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That's a great product. Brilliant price
It is
point.
interesting.
Brilliant gift for Christmas. The Bedlam Cube.
Well done, great, good investment.
Well done, guys.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, Danny, that must be one of the most successful pitches we've seen up here. I mean, they all wanted it, maybe apart from Duncan.
I was pretty gobsmacked, really. It was very, very exciting at one point, and with Peter wanting to take equity in my holding company.
You did, in the end, take an offer, 30% of the business you sold, when Theo had given you a better offer of only 25%.
I think that it was a good offer because, you know, I get the both of both parties. I get Theo's experience and Rachel's.
Perhaps the funniest moment was really when Doug worked out that your business plan was essentially modelled on the Rubik's Cube, which, let's face it, was a very successful company. You don't lack ambition.
Quite, and I think the thing is that the Bedlam Cube is better than the Rubik's Cube in many ways. I mean, the Rubik's Cube was dead easy, you just took the stickers off. But the Bedlam Cube is actually, I suppose, one of the hardest challenges, personal challenges you can ever have.
Well, you've got a pretty big challenge in front of you now. We really look forward to seeing how you get on.
Thanks.
Very well done, Danny.
Thanks very much.
It's all or nothing in the Dragon's Den. Most entrepreneurs today had no offers. Danny Bamping had 5. He got his £100,000 and he chose not to have one dragon but 2 dragons involved in his Bedlam puzzles business. He won, most lose, but then the rules of business never were designed to give everybody a prize. Goodbye. Next time on Dragon's Den.
This is just no more leading edge than the collar on my dog.
I have absolutely no desire to invest in this.
You've totally and utterly screwed this up.
Next on BBC Two, we're 3 weeks into making Slough happy. On BBC One now, set sail with the shipmates, Little Britons on BBC Three, and on BBC Four, brand new drama by William Boyd, The Taster, coming up.